everybody, how's it going? This is Fandom Empire Live, coming to you on a Saturday evening, broadcasting to you just from outside Toronto, Ontario, Canada. I'm your host, Sean, one of your hosts anyway, trying out a new angle. I'd love to say it's intentional, but a bunch of buddies and I did a hockey draft last night, a fantasy hockey draft, because, you know, we live in Canada and fantasy hockey is in fact a thing. We did a hockey draft, and in order for me to see the guy I was doing the draft with, I moved my monitor off to the side and got told from a couple of people that it looks really good from the side. And yeah, the only thing I don't like is I can't see my my Supernatural shirt over there anymore, or the Halloween 2018 poster. But still got this guy here. Got some Star Wars merch in the background, and yeah, how's everybody doing? How's everyone's weekend going? It is the, I guess technically speaking, the second weekend of 2021, and it kind of sounds like I have a cold. I didn't actually notice that until I got on here and heard myself in the mic. That I sound like I have a little bit of a cold, and that's Anyways, joining me on this fun little stream today, he is from just outside Baltimore, Maryland. He is an admin here at Fandom Empire as well as a chat moderator. It's Mr. Tommy B. How's it going, man? Oh, I got you muted again. This is twice in a row I've done that to you. It's Mr. Tommy B. Let's try that again.
Take two. All right. Hey, bud, I'm hanging in there. Been a busy weekend for me. You sound, I don't want to say you feel fine, but you sound fine. I don't hear no cold, nasally voice and all that BS. So.
I was going to say, you start saying I feel fine, and Jade might have an issue with that. Just saying. I mean, and your woman might have an issue with that too if we have some sort of secret love thing going on here.
Now we have secrets?
Ooh.
Okay.
How's everybody doing? We talked about the possibility of a watch along tonight, and that wasn't going to happen. Just couldn't make it work on such short notice. Jade and I don't have the little guy tonight, so sort of a night off for us. And I'm going to cook dinner in about an hour. And I thought, you know what? Let's do a live stream. Let's just let everybody dive into the chat and ask whatever the hell they want about Halloween, Halloween Kills, Halloween Ends. I'll say this, dude. This morning, I got a text message from the main guy we use as our source. And literally it read, "More after ends?" ? And this is what he does, is he'll give me a little bit, and then I'll go hunting, and then he'll basically leave me hanging to dry to assume for myself. It's like he has fun just fucking pulling my chain. Let's give a shout out to the people in the chat, by the way. Toronto Freddy, was recently his birthday. Got to get him on here at some point. Frank Riker, haven't seen him in a bit. How's it going, Frank? Dude, I'm telling you, I hear it in my voice. I sound different. It sounds like I have a cold. It's fucking killing me, and if it's killing me, it's got to be killing the
you thought about
the
it.
audience.
It's probably in your head now. You're getting self-conscious and thinking, oh, I'm sick. Oh, I sound like shit. I'm going to piss people off.
The other thing I noticed is I have a red light at the back of the PC that you can't see here because it has the glass, and it's like reflecting off my face. And if my monitor's straight like it normally is, that wouldn't be happening. So looks like I'm blushing. I guess I'm just blushing because your hair is so beautiful today, man. So beautiful and wavy, and look at you. Look at that smile.
I was recently told while wearing a black outfit that I look like Kylo Ren cosplay.
Kylo Ren cosplay?
I
wow.
know.
Frank Riker says, I sound Canadian. Toronto Freddy says, nothing after ends for a while. That's what I thought. I figured 2028 would make sense, 50-year anniversary. That, in fact, may not be the case. So looking into more of that, hopefully do more with that next week. Again, it's, kibbles and bits. Shout out to Mike in the chat, Spooky Clemente, You're going to see an ad for his running on this channel after January the 13th. He's making Halloween Kills masks. He's making Halloween Extreme masks. And Halloween Extreme's basically what we use in Haddonfield the Vanished. And we're going to try to sit down with him shortly and maybe do a prototype. I haven't talked to him too much about this, but maybe do a prototype of Halloween Ends and some of the information we have towards that. If you haven't noticed, Mike knocked out Halloween Kills out of the park. It's damn near identical to the actual mask. It's still really early times for Halloween Ends, but we do have some information on what the mask could look like in there, and I think it'd be really cool. We do know there's people waiting on masks. As far as I know, Mike said he's getting them out by January 13th, and I don't know how much I can say about this. Maybe Mike can comment further in the chat. Mike had his one fan film come out towards the tail end of last year, and I guess they didn't want to take any time because him and the crew he has down there have swung right back into another fan film, and they're I don't know how deep they're in the filming, but he told me the other day that they're legitimately filming, and like that's not even an option up here. I can't even walk into my grocery store up here without going through protocols, so it's just crazy. But it's good stuff, and Mike's got another fan film coming. Hopefully, when Mike's willing and ready, if he's willing to share any pictures or anything of that, we can have him on here and he can share it. I mean, I'm always up for any creativity that people are willing to use, whether it's Halloween, Star Wars, horror in general, and just see where it takes us. And I couldn't believe it when he told me they were already in. Oh, sorry. He's filming a teaser. Okay, that makes more sense because I thought they had ended up going right into production of the movie. He's filming a teaser for GoFundMe. Good job on that one because Indigo fucked themselves. And I guess we'll see it soon. He did show me an image of it the other day. I thought this was an image of the movie, not the teaser. Now I'm putting it together a little better. It looks good. It looks really good. It actually, if you look at our thumbnail here for this video, the image on the far left is from Haddonfield the Vanished, and the image that he showed me actually reminds me of that image we took from Haddonfield the Vanished. So, good stuff. Anyways, this is it's an anything AMA, but for our Halloween fans out there, we can talk anything Halloween you want. Not going to answer super spoilery stuff, of course, but we can walk the line a little bit. And if you want to support the channel, send in a super chat that guarantees to have your question answered during the stream within reason. And feel free to support us on that level. Jesse, we missed Jesse on Wednesday night. I think he was working, but Wednesday night stream, wow, up to, I think, 94 people in here at one point, like $100 in revenue. It was, that we won't see for 6 weeks because of the way Google works, but, it was just a crazy night. The chat was blowing up, chatting amongst each other. It was fan-fucking-tastic, dude. Let's dive right into the chat, though, see what we got going on. I don't know if anybody sent in any questions yet. I seen Brad's little message earlier. Modern Scripts Production says he loves the new angle. I don't know, man. Feel like I need to lower my A New Hope poster, but then I would, below that framed picture that you see right there in this area behind me is something that Jade made me, and it has Jensen's footprints on it. It's actually like a Star Wars framed thing, and it's something like Yoda the best father. Yoda the best because you are my father. And so you have one that turns into Yoda and one that turns into Vader, and it's pretty cool. Dylan, haven't seen Dylan in here a while. He says, hey, Sean, hope you're having a good weekend so far. We are. We're going to have a roast beef dinner tonight. I'm going to watch Tom Brady and company kick ass. That's right. I'm a Tom Brady fan. I dig Brady. Jesse says, what's up? Not much. Kieran's in here. I didn't even see Kieran in here. I thought Kieran was working. Kieran, who comes on our shows, he's part of Fandom Empire now. He's a star in Haddonfield the Vanished and now a chat mod as well. I wanted to add more chat mods Because I didn't want Toronto Freddy and Frank feeling like they had to be here all the time. And I know Toronto Freddy's been busy and Frank's been busy, and yet we do need help in the chat sometimes. So adding Tommy, giving Tommy chat powers and Kieran chat powers, and Matt Whitfield, who I haven't seen in here yet, but I think he's supposed to be in here at some point, and Jade really sort of helps things move a little more normally. All right. Spooky Clemente says more after ends. Yeah, apparently we might get a little something after Halloween ends. I don't really have any other information. I'm going to talk to him tomorrow. And then hopefully by Thursday when we go live for the next Fandom Empire Live, we can at least, I would probably classify it as a rumor. It's a long way off for now. But yeah. Brian, sorry, what's this say? Brian Weston, do you think the Myers house sold and was renovated, hence the stained glass in the window? I mean, Tommy, both of you and I know the answer to this question. You can go ahead and answer that.
I mean, the Myers house is no longer, it wasn't, abandoned for all those years. If I remember correctly, there was a period, but it has new occupants. So it's been used. It's not the same old house, cobwebs and dust and what have you.
Yeah, no, the Myers house is renovated to an extent, and you have a couple living there, so that's cool. Michael Stapp says, you sound okay to me, Sean. Thanks, Mike. It's appreciated.
You sound wonderful.
Oh, wonder, dude! This display of love coming from you today, after you normally being so cranky, is just, it's filling my heart with all these butterflies, and you can't. Oh man, it's incredible.
It's before 8 or 9 o'clock. I'm not sleepy and grumpy yet.
So what you're saying is when you're always on here, you're basically always grumpy and sleepy.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. I'm a different person right now.
So what you're saying is you're a 70-year-old trapped in a 25-year-old's body.
Sounds about right.
Did I get that right? 25 or 26?
How old am I?
I don't know. How old are you?
26.
26. 20. So you're Jade's age. So I feel like the old guy here. Yeah. So, Solid Saturn says, when does the Total Film magazine come out? The truth is, I have absolutely no idea, other than I can tell you they have more for Halloween Kills. I can tell you a couple other places have more for Halloween Kills, and you're likely going to see it in the not so distant future. We told you after the image dropped that you were going to get a little bit more that week. You did. You got an article with it as well. And you'll probably get a little bit more next week. So I'm not saying we know our shit. I'm just saying sometimes we know our shit. So, and to be, it was really easy to figure out though, guys. Total Film came out with something which was very clearly a replacement article in the fall. Not even in the fall, sorry, in the summer. And it was very clearly that wasn't what they intended, so it was really easy to put it together. That's not how I knew, but still, anybody could have done it. What do we have here? We read Spookies already. Denise says, will Mike make the ends mask? Well, you'd have to ask Mike that, but I don't see why he wouldn't. What he does is incredible, but I would say that if he makes an end mask soon, it really does need to be labeled just prototype, because while we have some information on it, we're so far out from Halloween Ends that, like, basically almost 2 years, that it wouldn't make a whole lot of sense to be like, this is the Halloween Ends mask. When we did the Halloween Kills, he had seen an image, I had seen an image, and then we both had some firsthand information, and I'm just the guy that yaps his gums. He's the guy with the talent that puts this thing together.
And that talent takes, well, the whole process involves a lot of time. So, I mean, all those out there who've ordered masks know it takes time. There's a lot of turnaround. So, I believe Mike's still working off of a backlog. So, even if an ends mask was a, idea right now based off of information we have, it would be some time before we see it. Yeah,
and the other thing you got to remember here is it's not like Mike spends an hour or two on one of these masks and it's like, all right, throws it out there. He's pretty meticulous with what he does and how he does it, and Those masks will go out January 13th at the latest, and people will have them. But the Halloween Ends mask, I do think, if the information is correct, is going to be a little bit controversial. You know, I think back to I'm not going to even say which movie. Mike and I have talked about it. A certain movie has there's a couple of Halloween movies that have controversial masks, but one of them in particular has some controversy around what they do with that mask, and you're going to have a little bit of that by the sounds of it with this. So, Toronto Freddy says Yoda, the best father, sounds more logical. Come on, man. This is Jade we're talking about. Love you, babe. Julian Bruce Studios says, "Hey, Sean, thanks for answering one of my questions on Thursday night, and thank God one of my 5 favorite YouTubers answering one of..." Sorry, what? "Hey, Sean, thanks for answering one of my questions on Thursday night, and thank God one of my top 5 favorite YouTubers answers one of my questions." I don't know if he's saying...
thanking you, and he's saying you're one of his favorite YouTubers because all the other ones don't answer his questions.
Look, I'm not going to go into a long rant about this. This is the way this channel works. We encourage people to send in super chats or super stickers because the way that Tommy and I and Kieran and everybody else gets to come back on is when we make a little bit of money off this. And obviously the ad revenue does a little bit, but not much. We're talking kibbles and bits, go to the store, get a bag of milk sort of thing. Yeah, I said bag of milk. I'm Canadian. But when people send in super chats, it supports the channel. If you like the channel, it helps, but it's tough times. We don't ask everyone to do it all the time. There's a group of about a dozen people that here and there do it. Intel obviously does it a ton. Big supporter of the channel. Toronto Freddy in the past has done it. Same with Frank. But it doesn't mean we're not going to answer normal chat questions. Like, yeah, I know there are YouTube channels out there that don't even answer all the super chat questions. Now, I understand if you're asking them something that's too personal. I understand if you're asking them something that's spoilery and they don't want to go that way. But there are channels out there that won't even answer your question if you're like, "Hey, so what's your favorite yada yada?" And they just skip past it, even though you've paid $5 to answer that question. And $5 might not seem like much, but we're in a fucking pandemic here. So anytime you guys donate to the channel, it helps us, and we take that seriously. But we also know that not everybody can do that, so we want to take time to answer as many questions as we can. The fact is we can't answer everyone's question. That chat the other night on Wednesday night had...
Yo, that was popping. That was great.
Like, there was over 1,000 messages in that chat. There was no way we were getting through that chat. That was nuts. But we were able to answer all the super chats and then get a good chunk of the normal chats too, so... I think we ended up staying on 20 minutes longer just to make sure we answered some normal chats and that people weren't feeling left out. That's the channel, guys. It's Fandom Empire. You may not always like what comes out of our mouths, but what comes out of our mouths is always honest and straightforward. And I appreciate everybody that takes their time to tune in. It's a Saturday evening, and there's been about 35 to 40 of you guys watching so far, and let's keep it up. Ronnie Burns, do you think Karen should be killed off in Halloween Kills for not listening to her mother? Okay, so just so we're clear, I'm saying what I think, not necessarily what I know. I think that Karen's character was very fucking annoying in Halloween 2018. Basically the opposite of Jamie Lloyd. And
until the last 3 minutes, 5 minutes of the movie.
But at the same time, I thought the movie did a really good... This is the one thing I think the movie does hit really good, is when you look at everything she went through in her childhood and had to deal with and the way she was brought up, it was really easy to tell why she would, resort to that sort of behavior. And, so I'll say this. I think Judy Greer is an absolutely incredible performer. They're very lucky to have her. And in Halloween Kills, you're going to get a very different Karen. Very, very different Karen. Tommy, you have anything to add?
Nah, basically everything that you said.
Basically everything you said.
No, she went through the experiences now. She's actually seen the dude in the mask, and ended up in that harsh situation at the end of the film that makes her character do a total 180. So it'll be interesting once we see it.
Spooky Clemente says, we're wrapping up filming tonight, so I'll keep you posted on that. Awesome job, man. Be safe. Have fun. Greg Shepard says, I'm looking forward to characters Tommy Doyle and Brackett. I think they have more to gain as characters. Tommy Doyle is definitely part of the ensemble in this movie. We've said for over a year now that this is an ensemble Halloween movie, first of its kind. And while Brackett is in that movie, and I'd say does become part of that ensemble, he's definitely not a focus. Like, I wouldn't classify Brackett's role a cameo, but it's also not like a main supporting role either. But when Brackett's in there, he's pretty cool, and it's kind of cool the way they handle Brackett in Halloween Kills, because you get some teasing before you sort of like really get into him, and I like that. I like that they're just not, oh, here he is, sort of thing. Jade says, I could have just turned around to read it. Great, Jade's in the chat. Play your game. Toronto Freddy says, I certainly hope not. Let him rest. Don't call it ends and not end it. That's so redundant. Yeah, like I said, if I had to guess, anything that happens after Halloween Ends that's not the year 2028, 50 years to the anniversary, is probably going to be almost anthology-like. Maybe a Netflix series, something Blumhouse can do. But again, I have no information on it other than, they're probably going to do more Halloween products after Halloween Ends. And don't forget, on the last stream, we made reference to the way that Halloween Kills is shaped and what happens in it, and the fact that Halloween, by the way, again, sorry, I like to, for new viewers of the channel, it gives you an idea if we know what we're talking about or not. I'm not tooting my own horn because we've been wrong before. I'm simply saying, Tommy, on the last stream, did we not run the report? It was one of the last two streams, I know that Halloween Ends was going to be a much smaller, more personal scale.
Yes, we did.
And then the following day after we said that, Total Film, the article comes out and it's, oh yeah, by the way, Halloween Kills is this big movie before, and this is straight from David Gordon Green's mouth, before we get down and more intimate on a smaller scale in Halloween Ends. So if you're ever wondering if we're just throwing shit against the wall hoping it sticks, we're not. I'd flat out come out and tell you, and we would just be like, we're a Halloween theory channel. Let's just theorize. No, we are lucky enough to have some placed sources in the industry. But theorizing's cool too. What if, who was it was in here the other day? DMT from McRae's channel over there had the bit about what if at the end of Halloween Ends, Michael does such and such, and then Chucky shows up, and then the end credits roll, and the Power Rangers theme plays or whatever. It was just an amazing way to end the stream. There's nothing wrong with theorizing. Travis Middleton says, I'm probably the old guy here, Sean. No, man, you're beautiful. You're young. You're vibrant. 22 at heart. Damn right. Solid Saturn asks, do you think Laurie will die in Halloween Ends? Over to you, Tommy.
Do I think Laurie will die in Halloween Ends? That's one that still gets me. I'm going to be totally honest with you. Because on one end of things, I can totally see them doing it. Because it's already happened before in another timeline. I didn't like that. I didn't like the way they did it, but they did it. On another note, they might not do it, and they might throw a curveball and just be like, hey, she's Laurie freaking Strode. She lived to the very end. She might get banged up pretty bad, and, she's older already, and she's had a very, very challenging life, and who knows what it would look like after the events that she's gone through on this, this night. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to err on the side of yes. Yes, I think they're going to end up killing her off. one way or another.
By the way, everybody, about 40 of you guys in here still watching consistently, only 13 likes. I know I'm preaching, but hit the like button, hit the thumbs up button. It helps other people who don't know about our channel find us. So take literally 2 seconds and hit that thumbs up button because it helps us. I don't know why you wouldn't if you're still here watching. So hit the thumbs up button, drop a like. Let's get some more likes up in this place. Do it. Super chat in from KJ, which I'm going to ask for a little more clarification on. Can you give us a 1-word hint for each surprise character in kills without spoiling? You don't have to send in another super chat, KJ, but can you send in something a little more specific than that? That way I know exactly what you're referring to, because 1-word hint for every character or every surprise character in kills without spoiling.
Yeah, I gotta be totally honest. I don't know what his surprise character is.
I can think of one for sure. Yeah, no, there's definitely. Well, I mean, no.
Like to me personally, the biggest surprise character is already known.
Yeah,
because he's been in, the teaser already. So and that's Tommy Doyle.
No, I don't think he's the biggest surprise character. I don't.
No, you saw him.
No, we know Tommy, we know Lindsay, we know Chambers, we know Brackett. Obviously the returning cast from the last movie as well. We know Hawkins is back, which I know people are like, what? How the fuck is Hawkins still alive? But they already announced that, so it's not like a big surprise. Okay, I'm going to say something which might be considered...
I think I have one, but I don't know if we want to say it.
I was going to say, I have one, which they've basically made official, and like Bloody Disgusting has run the article, but for the sake of maybe new viewers in the chat, I'm not going to come out and say it. So here are the 2 hints I will give you on 2 characters I'm talking about. One would be crazy. Would be a good word to describe it. And the other one, oh man, that's tough. So one's definitely crazy, and you've seen this character relatively recently. And the other hint would be legend. That's how I would describe those 2 specific characters, crazy and legend. Let's go back in the chat here, figure out where we were. Tom, hey everyone, what's up, Sean? How's it going, Tom? Long time no see, my friend. Get Gronk, hey guys, how's your day been? Been wondering if you think Gun Media will make a Halloween game in the future. I always said they should make a game for a bunch of different killers. We ran a couple of weeks ago that Gun Media is working on another horror game, and they're actually working on another horror game with Kane Hodder. And there's some belief that it may, in fact, be a Halloween game. And I know people are going to be like, what the fuck? Why is Kane Hodder Michael Myers? But Kane Hodder was all the Jasons in the Friday the 13th game. And he probably hit it off with Gun Media and things went well. Hodder let it slip that he's working on another horror movie game with them from a franchise. And honestly, I feel like it has to be Halloween. It could be Texas Chainsaw Massacre. They got some stuff coming out too. But I really think they have a Halloween game in the works. I could be off on that, but signs seem to be pointing that way. So it's not, it is an if, but there's already some smoke there. Let's see if there's some fire. You'd play a Halloween game, right, Tommy? Oh, God. Oh, God. Get out. Get out. The size not cool, man.
Tough call, It's most video game movies just utterly suck. And I've heard the same thing about the Jason game. So I don't know. I'd consider giving it a shot because I'm sure I'd be getting inundated with people wanting me to try it. I
love the Friday the 13th game. I think it's great. It does get repetitive. They would have been able to release a lot more content. Just read an article today, actually, on some of the content that they had finished and were not legally allowed to release, which kind of sucks. By the way, everybody, we're going to do Q&A for another 10 or 15 minutes here, and then going to give a little brief update on Haddonfield the Vanished, which is not a whole lot to update right now because our hands are tied. And then Tommy and I are going to end this stream talking about a old comic book TV show called Smallville. It's a show about Superman growing up. It's not even really a show about Superman. It's a show about Clark Kent, Lex Luthor. It paved the way for all the comic book shows you see today. We're sort of rewatching it, and rather than do a whole different video or do recording session, we're going to actually record our bit for that in this live stream and then post it as a different video. So if you want to stick around for that, you can feel free to do that as well. Solid Saturn says he's got peanut butter on his penis. That sounds like a problem, man.
Oh, my.
Get Gronk says, yeah, on Wednesday I asked 3 questions. All 3 were answered. It's not always going to be that way, though. It just, it isn't. The chat's not quite as crazy today as it was the previous day. There's still 40 of you guys in here and only 18 likes, guys. Hit that like button. Hit it, man. Hit the like button. That's what they're all saying to me right now. No. Yes, hit it. It helps. All right, what else do we got here? Tom says Wham has a great community, and they always show love. They do. They have a huge community. They can't really answer everybody's questions, but their following is so huge that I get it. Would like to see them give some love to some smaller channels, though, and it's not a shot at them. That's not really their style. I'm
going to shoot this person a quick shout out real quick. J Beach 12078. That's a lot of numbers. What do you think of corner gas? And I don't think it's your thing, Sean. We've talked about this before, but I've personally checked out the animation. IMDb has it on their service for free. And I've enjoyed what I've seen. I think I watched half a dozen episodes or so. It's one of those things that I didn't get sucked into, but you want to go back and watch on, as a what the hell sort of thing, something to half watch. What about you? I don't think it's your thing, Sean.
No, I never. But then again, I never gave it a chance. It didn't resonate with me. I seen commercials all the time back in the day, and I never gave it a chance. But I know it's a huge hit. It's not like it's a small show up here. It was massive. It's one of the biggest Canadian TV shows ever. It's like Schitt's Creek that just ended. Canadian TV show, huge. I believe it won an award recently too. I'm Canadian, but it doesn't mean I watch all Canadian content. So it's like when someone hears that one of your favorite sports teams might not be a Canadian team. Like for me, I love the Maple Leafs. They're Canadian. And I love the Blue Jays. They're Canadian. But we get into the NFL and there is no NHL no Canadian NFL team. And I'm not just going to be a Buffalo fan because I live close to them. I love Tennessee Titans and I love Tom Brady. So that's where my allegiances lie there. And basketball, I was an Allen Iverson fan growing up. I thought he was great. I'm not a Toronto Raptors fan. I guess it's easy for people to resonate with the sports teams that are close with them, and it's not necessarily the way I look at it. And Tommy, we all know you love sports, right?
Oh, yay. Go sports. Hey, here he is. He joined. I think he just joined Wayne Gotke in the chat with a very wonderful super chat. Putting the foot down.
Wayne Gotke!
Anyone who thinks Halloween Ends is the last movie doesn't understand timeline implementation. The Akkad family has perpetually maintained that Myers will never die. And, of course, bear in mind, it's their only IP. I think that's the firmest I've ever seen Wayne be. What about you?
First of all, I love Wayne. Wayne never answered me in the last stream if he's the guy I have on Facebook. because I have someone on Facebook that's named like Wayne James Gottke or James Wayne Gottke or something. I need to know if it's you, Wayne. Are you the Gottke I have on Facebook, or did I add some fucking guy that I don't even know who he is and he just stole your last name looking for fame, mother Canucker?
How many people you
that
figure
son
out
of a
there
bitch?
call Wayne Gottke?
I don't know. I love the last name though. Should ask Jade if we can take on his last name. We'll be the Gottke couple.
Skywalker?
Look. They have said for a long time that Michael Myers will not die. And if you need proof of that, look no further than Halloween Resurrection, where Michael Myers was dead as a doornail at the end of H2O. But it's like, no, we can't have that. He's back, which was a horrible creative decision, by the way. I do think they are going to kill Michael Myers in Halloween Ends. I do. I hope they don't. I know our chat mod Frank Riker had this really cool idea in the past where he sort of just fades away into the fall leaves the next morning, which I think is badass. I mean, that's a very small preview of what Frank's idea was, but I think, look, David Gordon Green almost didn't come back for Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends. It wasn't just like a given. There was some negotiating that went back and forth. The original intent for Halloween Kills was to turn around and have the movie out in late October of 2019. And they couldn't get past the negotiation stages, and they didn't want to go and do what they did with Halloween 5. And I'm not ripping on Halloween 5 just for the sake of ripping on Halloween 5. At the end of the day, instead of waiting on the guys that did Halloween 4 because their plate was full, they rushed out another movie, and they didn't do it this time. And I think it's when you see Halloween Kills, it's going to pay off. You know, sometimes patience is, you know, the right method, the right path to take. And this is coming from someone who is incredibly impatient and probably doesn't know the first thing about patience. Although I'm trying to learn with Haddonfield to Vanish, trying to be a little bit more patient. I do think they're going to kill Michael Myers in Halloween Ends, and then they'll move on to another timeline. And we said we were going to talk about timelines a bit here. My little guy, who's almost 13 years old, has now seen all the movies except for Rob Zombie ones, is already confused in terms of the timeline. And I can't help but wonder how many, like, not diehard fans, not even fans that, like, love it, just the casual moviegoer that goes and sees Halloween in 2018. Not Halloween 2018, but Halloween in 2018. I wonder if they had any trouble, like, trying to keep up with where the story is. You know, I know what happens with Star Wars fans all the time, not diehards, not, you know, people that geek out, casual moviegoers that say, oh yeah, I'm going to go see a Star Wars flick, and then get lost. And I can't help but wonder if the Halloween timeline is getting a little too convoluted and people are having a hard time keeping up with, you know, what comes next. Again, I'm referencing a 13-year-old boy who's having trouble keeping up. However, I can tell you there's people in Jade's family who have asked me, okay, so does this movie take place after this movie, and does it tie into this movie? And it is really, it's kind of messed. And, I mean, as long as the budget stays low on these movies, I think they're going to continue to screw around with different timelines. I would not rule out the possibility of them going back and doing a direct sequel to Halloween 4 on a very low budget. I honestly would not. Soon? Probably not, but I wouldn't rule it out. Jade says she loved Corner Gas. I haven't watched the animated one yet. It's one of the main shows I watch at the cottage. My favorite line is, "Hey kids, get the fuck off my lawn." And it's a giant F sign from the cafe. Get Gronk says Tom Brady's my favorite. Good stuff. Toronto Freddy says, Wayne. Oh, this is directly to Wayne Gotke. Tom says, I would love Jamie timeline after Laurie. Yeah, I would too, man. I'm right there. Frank Riker, if Michael is done killing in Haddonfield, then just let him fade out with the sunset. Absolutely. I'm so for that. Let him fade out with the sunset and just have him disappear. Have him, like, his essence be what people are scared of going forward. You know? I remember we threw out the idea they could have very well gone back and done a whole other movie in 1978. You know, we're getting a flashback that's, 10, 12 minutes long, whatever, that people are going to love. Nostalgia-filled. Fans of the original are going to be geeking out. It's going to be fandom orgasms everywhere. But they had an opportunity, I thought anyways, I almost gave away what happens to Michael in the flashback. Ooh.
Don't do that.
Yeah, I almost slipped. That usually doesn't happen. I'm usually right on top of that shit. But so they could have had Michael just go to the town over from Haddonfield, because they only say he killed 5 people in Haddonfield in 1978. What if he killed 10 more the next town over, and you could go back and redo that? Almost like not having, how do you put it? Almost like you're not changing anything that happened. You're adding to it. But they resisted the urge, and I do think, the flashback's not overdone. People are going to love it. It's going to be good stuff. What do we have here? Oh,
I want to tap this one real quick that just popped up. Tom, you keep saying Tom. Is that Tom? Help me out here.
Yeah, Tom. I'm just going to call him Tom. We're looking at the same one.
Works for me. What would we think of a Season of the Witch timeline, but a TV series, not a movie? Tom, we've talked about... Oh, God, I'm fucking Tommy. That feels weird. We've talked about that one before quite a bit, and totally game for it. Abso-freaking-lutely. H3 is one of those love it or hate it things, and for me, it's a love it sort of thing. I didn't know what I was going to think of it going into it. I did watch them 1, 2, 3, so on. But I really enjoyed it once I gave it a few minutes. I was aware Michael's not in it besides that little TV cameo. And I loved it for what it is, and I think that's pretty much the same thing for you, right, Sean?
Sorry, I was showing off the H3. We were talking about... I bought the fucking steel tin for a reason, right? And actually, I love the steel tin because if you look closely, it obviously has the 3 main masks, the Season of the Witch masks on the front. But if you look on the back, you can actually see Michael's mask there on the case, which is badass. I love Season of the Witch. I don't get the hate. I think it's fucking hilarious. I could be wrong on this. I believe over on the Slaughtered Lamb movie podcast with Frank Riker and Darren Sands, Frank got really fucking loaded off of Season of the Witch in a drinking game they played. And then Jade had something similar happen on our channel. I think it's great. I love it. And I don't know what this little more Halloween after Halloween ends is, but I would hope that it's not Michael. As much as I love Michael, let him rest till the 50-year anniversary. And let's do something with Season of the Witch. Absolutely. When you look at, I haven't seen Stranger Things, but you look at Stranger Things and all the other content that's on these streaming channels now, you could either retell or do a sequel to Season of the Witch and have it be extremely compelling for the times that we're in. Matt Whitfield sends in a $20 super chat. That is super generous, my man. Appreciated. If we get a 50th anniversary movie in 2028, the movie is going to reset the franchise, being like what Halloween 4 did. It's after the movie will determine how success the franchise going forward. The best thing they could do is let's play what if. Let's say the boogeyman doesn't die in Halloween Ends. He does the Frank thing where he fades away. The best thing they could do is if they do a 50th anniversary movie, don't involve Laurie, don't involve Haddonfield. This is my opinion. This is subjective, just my opinion. Don't involve Laurie, don't involve Haddonfield. Have it be about new characters. You can have Michael come back, and he's just the boogeyman. Oh, that's that guy that we heard of in that town over in Illinois. That's what I would do, Cast one well-known actor and then a supporting cast and go from there. Or actress, pardon me.
Yo, what if we got like Michael Myers in New York or New Jersey?
Not for me. No,
Not for
thank
you?
you.
You don't think so?
No, no. But you know what's crazy is I think Michael Myers in like a Mexican style that or like surrounding that you see in like the Mayans TV series. I think there's some really cool visuals that could be done there. They probably won't do Michael at like a campground because it's too Jason like, even though I think you could do some really cool stuff there.
I don't think I'd be game for it.
There was this
Not me personally.
There was this one idea. It's in the I'm pretty sure it's in the Taking Shape 2 book, which I still have not finished. There was this one idea in that book. Or actually, sorry, I don't know if it's in that book, but I've heard about the possibility of it of a movie that could have came out and it didn't. And it's basically Michael Myers is in this high-rise apartment building, and for whatever reason, the power's out and people are trying to escape the apartment building, and Michael's hunting everyone down. The whole thing takes place in this high-rise apartment building in some big metropolitan city. I actually like the sounds of that. I would love to see Michael just randomly throw someone off of a 70-story metropolitan building. I think that'd be just fan-fucking-tastic. You could do just use endless possibilities there. It'd be a lot of fun. Any thoughts there, Tommy?
Yeah, it sounds fun. I've seen, I think, fan films playing with that sort of setting a little bit. It was all right. I enjoyed it for what it was. It'd be interesting to see if one of these big studios came out with something like that. But I really dig that idea of doing like a reset and bringing in new characters all these years later and just seeing what happens. The thing is, are we going to play with the same continuity, or do we want to do this like?
I'd bring it up as as little as possible and have it like. I know a lot of people want Michael to just sort of be a guy who's less supernatural, but I'd have him a little more supernatural because maybe it's like 10 years after the events of this trilogy. I mean, it would be 10 years after the events of this trilogy, which would make him in his 70s.
Very old already.
Although I've seen people in their 70s that are super fit that could make a 25-year-old look pathetic. So
yeah, I mean, that's possible. I mean, he's no sports athlete, but I would partially appreciate maybe if they did like, well, this is Michael if he left Haddonfield after H1. But I don't know. Hard to say, right?
All right. So, chat, this is what's going to happen. Tommy and I are going to talk about Smallville for the next 10 or 12 minutes here. And then we'll come back to the chat if there's anything else that's been in there. So if you want to be guaranteed to get your question answered, send in a super chat. If not, just send in a chat about whatever. It doesn't have to be Halloween-based. It can be anything about horror, movies, video games, Star Wars, whatever you want. Send it in the chat. We'll do our best to get back to it as soon as we can. But we are going to...
I just want to mention this real quick. Travis Middleton, I saw your super chat. Thank you very much. You didn't have any words in there. Did you mean ask a question or something? Just want to make sure that doesn't pass by.
Travis is a huge supporter of the channel. Means the world, man. If you have a question you want answered that didn't go in, then... Frank Riker says, why do we even have to talk about how old he is? That's my point, though. You don't. Like, fuck discussing the fact... Like, if it's all new characters... You don't need to know what happened in... I mean, the audience will know what happened in 1963, in 1978, and then in 2018. But for the new characters that were falling, fuck it. They don't need to know how he is. It's some fucking deranged serial killer in a mask that has hints of supernatural there. You don't need to bring any of that up.
Fair enough.
Like, to me, I've always thought there are some cases where you do need to explain more, and it helps the narrative. And then there are other cases where you explain way too much and you throw your fucking movie or product or video game completely out the window. But it is what it is. Let's dive into some Smallville chat talk. We'll get back to the chat in a second. We probably only got about 20 minutes left on the stream at the max. So Tommy and I, hang on. All right, so this is our first little, I guess you could call it miniature Smallville recap, Smallville Chronicles. Tommy and I made a commitment to be able to go back and review Smallville, which in my opinion is the most successful comic book TV show ever made. If you look at all the current comic book TV shows that are out there, none of them put up the ratings Smallville did, and none of them had the longevity that Smallville did. And Smallville paved the path for all those new shows that are out there, whether it's Supergirl, Batwoman, Arrow, Flash, you name it. Without Smallville, none of these shows exist, and it's on that network too. Smallville stars Tom Welling and Michael Rosenbaum as Clark Kent and Lex Luthor, with a cast of many others, including John Schneider as Jonathan Kent. I have seen this series probably 4 or 5 times through. It ended in 2011, and Tommy has never seen this, and we thought, you know what, it'd be really fun not to do like this deep dive into every single episode, but just a brief little recap and maybe do them, 3 or 4 episodes at a time. So Tommy and I, in the past week, have both watched the first 4 episodes of season 1. Let's start with the pilot, dude. What did you think? Obviously, it was filmed way back in 2001. It aired just after 9/11, a time where a lot of people were looking for hope, and this show really did provide it for them.
Yeah, I really feel like that pilot was really curtailed for those of us who might not have the, most expansive comic, know-how background or what have you. Up until recently, I had my own huge collection of comics, but I would not categorize myself as a, super comic fan, what have you. So going into it, with the little I know about Superman, I was able to generally gather what was going on. This is who this is. This is who that is. Hey, this is probably what's going to happen now in a couple minutes. And honestly, based off of the other CW shows I've seen, mind you, years later and what have you, I could see a connection. I really could. I could see that whole, influence. So it was I really enjoyed the pilot overall.
My least favorite part about the pilot is we don't get Remy Zero's Somebody Save Me. I don't know about you. I don't know if you skipped the intro on the other episodes.
I've seen it for the other episodes.
I never skip that intro. I think it's the greatest intro of any TV series ever. I love the song. It changes in season 5. The song stays the same, but they change the style of the intro. I was
going to ask, does it change or not?
No,
I assumed
the song's all through the series, but they do change the intro style once we get to season 5. The pilot sets the stage for everything. Basically, Smallville's a show about Clark Kent. Spoiler alert, he doesn't become Superman till the very end. They were dedicated of telling a show about Clark Kent, about Lex Luthor, in a universe where they're in fact friends. And you're getting a very different Lex Luthor. And a lot of people, don't get me wrong, Gene Hackman was wonderful as Lex Luthor. While he's a scumbag human being, Kevin Spacey was a decent Lex Luthor. A lot of people really love Rosenbaum as Lex and feel really attached to that character. And while the pilot's not my favorite episode, not even close actually, I think it's one of the weaker episodes of season 1. I said to you before you watched it, I thought the pilot does a really good job of basically setting up the lore and the characters for the series. It's like a stage setter, which pilots should be, but some shows, when they do a pilot, they don't do a very good job of setting up the pilot. Frank Riker says the blur. Shh, Tommy doesn't know. But I know what you're talking about, Frank.
I do.
Oh, do you? Yeah.
Yeah, too much Googling. Look, here's something. It's inaccurate to say I've never seen Smallville before. I've seen bits and pieces. It was always that show that I think at certain times might have come on WB-17 after all the cool cartoons I used to watch. Or it was just on the channel to begin with. I don't know the universe. I don't know the story all that well. And to tell you the truth, I didn't know who Lana Lang was. That's a character that I spoiled a few details for myself about, just trying to figure out, is this a like Smallville OG character, or is she an other?
Hang on, how many details did you spoil? What's the biggest detail you spoiled?
I've seen questions like, is she a super person or something like that? Apparently, she marries Lex eventually, but they end up getting divorced.
Okay, you've seen two. Stop fucking Googling. You're ruining the series for yourself.
What do you think I told you?
Bloody hell. Well, you just threw season 4, 5, and 6 out the window.
Well, look, they're just details. They're just details. I'm sure the seasons have much more weight to them with everything else they do. It's like Supernatural. When I was first going through that, another show that you recommended ended up dragging me to do. I was reading certain things and I had certain details spoiled for me, but they didn't make any freaking sense.
Good.
Some of these things, maybe they make a little more sense, but I have no idea how we get there. I don't know what comes next.
I mean, it's not a big secret that Lex Luthor is going to become a villain because it's Lex Luthor. But the story that Smallville tells
here's something I don't realize about this series yet. I think he leaves the show eventually later down the line, but I don't know how long they stay friends for. This odd friendship Clark and Lex have. I don't know how long that lasts before they start going at each other. At the end of episode 4, you kind of see him alluding to that, what was he, a reporter? Look at this smashed up car. I was in this car. This is your job. You're going to figure out how this happened. So, and
but there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with him doing that, though, dude. He survived some miraculous thing, and he's curious, like, wait a second, something's not adding up. How did I live through this? How did I live through the meteor shower? He's curious. Like, I really do think Lex Luthor's turn in Smallville is similar to Anakin Skywalker's turn, and it's kind of other people really fuck with him, and eventually he gets to, like, the line and just, I'm not going to spoil how, but eventually crosses the line and becomes the villain. Frank Riker says Lana Lang's superpower is being a cock tease. That's accurate. Notice how I
gotta be totally honest, just so far with where I'm at, episode 4, I don't like her character. I don't like her.
I have noticed, sorry, 1 second. I have noticed that in the earlier seasons, like, she almost has, like, an intentionally super soft fake voice. Like, it constantly sounds like she's fake and condescending. But anyways,
I like the depth. I like her depth of a character, and she reacts well in certain situations, and she gets pissed off at Whitney. But look, she's too flighty. Like, come on, girl, don't friggin' dump him. He sucks. That's just my feelings, though. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, so all in all, I think the pilot does its job, but it's not my favorite episode. You enjoyed it, though?
Oh, yeah. I totally enjoyed it. I think it did a great job setting up the story. We can even say the universe, whatever. Tailoring things for those who don't come with the most expansive comic or Superman background, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens. Something we could touch on very, very, very briefly real quick is in my poorly thought through Googling, try and figure out how does this connect with the Arrowverse. I think they've made it clear that they are coming out later with maybe next month or so. What is it called? Superman and Lois or whatever. It's going to be a series following
it's not
later.
It's not connected at all, sadly.
I thought it was. That was my understanding. I thought the continuity was hooked up to it.
No, other than like they have that brief Smallville cameo in that little series thing they did. Jade says, Tommy, is wifey watching it with you? Jade, check your phone, please. Yes or no?
Oh, is she watching Smallville with me? I guess I have to answer that, don't I?
I think she would enjoy the earlier seasons. I do think it probably gets a little too.
She watched She watched episode 3 and 4 with me yesterday, but that was only because I decided to sit on the couch while she was playing Animal Crossing.
Ah, yes, that's what's happening in my house right now. There's two lovely ladies upstairs playing Animal Crossing. It's an obsession, apparently.
I'm going through Super Mario Odyssey and Pokemon Shield personally.
Tommy's 26, not 21.
Oh God, I feel
21. That's about the age you were when I met you.
I felt like 21. I feel like I'm 99 at some time.
Marcus Hicks sends in a super chat for those that are watching the Smallville Chronicles episode, chronicling the first 4 episodes of Smallville right now. We're doing this in the middle of a live stream, so apologies. Marcus Hicks super chat is, did you guys know that IO Interactive is making a James Bond game? Yeah, it's an origin story. It's been out for a bit. Hopefully they do a good job with it, and I hope there's a multiplayer to it that's reminiscent to GoldenEye. That'd be fun. Let's get to episode 2, though, man. Episode 2 is the Bug Boy episode. We'll be briefer on this one, but I like episode 2 better than episode 1 because it's the first, in my opinion anyways, it's the first episode you really start to see Clark and Lex's relationship bloom a bit, and I dug it. And by the way, how fucking awesome is the music in Smallville? If you were a fan of music that came out from the mid-90s to the mid-2000s, you're going to love Smallville all the way through. Like, I need to create a Smallville playlist where it's just music from Smallville. It's so fucking good, and it really adds to the show. But no, man, I really liked that second episode, and I liked that he basically had some balls and stood up to Whitney. He's like, yeah, you better go find the fucking necklace yourself, basically.
That was great. Look, the soundtrack is awesome. It doesn't make the story in and of itself, but it definitely helps. I think I made the comment to you that when I was starting this, I was nervous that it was going to be childlike and was going to be all that fun and immersive. I was a bit young for this show when it came out, I would think, because I was watching Saturday morning cartoons, and it ended in, 2010. I wasn't even, no, I was a sophomore in high school. But I feel like I'm going through Supernatural again. Not Supernatural.
I get what you're saying. I do.
It's that great. I'm enjoying it.
Well,
I really am.
Just think of it. Jensen Ackles is in that TV show too. So gotta wait till season 4 for that though.
A lot of stuff comes season 4. That's my understanding.
Yeah, season 4 is where the show takes a big step into a bigger world, and then season 6 is basically the full. Like to me, in the box sets designed this way, is Smallville from seasons 1 to 5 is one type of show, and then season 6 to 10 is a completely other type of show. It's almost like two different TV shows. But yeah, no, episode 2 was solid. I really did enjoy it. We get to episode 3, which is the football coach, the guy who gets infected with the meteor rock, the kryptonite, and he's just getting pissed and the fire and shit. But what I like about this one is, like, I want you to think about it from both perspectives. Is the story of this episode is Clark just wants to be normal, so he can do normal teenage things. He wants to play on the football team, but his dad doesn't want him to. Not because he doesn't want his dad to, not because he doesn't want his son to have a good time. Of course he does. But it just takes one slip, and he's worried that Clark's going to become a lab rat somewhere. So, like, battling... I couldn't imagine... it's a TV show, but having to, like... Jonathan Kent in this TV show, well, he really pisses me off at times. Especially, like, you're 4 episodes in, and you probably already see how unfairly he's treating Lex.
He's very, very cautious. He's very... Yeah. He's no John Winchester.
No. Both Johns, I never put that together. But, like, again, this episode deals with Clark having to, like, grow up and have so many limitations, and yet he's starting to have some... by the way, I see the views going way down, too. It's like, what? They're not talking Halloween or horror? Fuck this. It's fine. We'll get back to the chat in a second as we end things.
It's all they want us for.
But no, I thought episode 3 was good, and it deals with the issues that Clark has to deal with growing up. And then we get to episode 4, where it really highlights them. Like you're starting to see some of his abilities develop, and how much that's affecting his everyday life. Like The dude first of all, the coach is just like, "Oh, Kent, that was quite a fall." I'm thinking, dude just fell 20 feet on his back, and that's how you react, thinking it's like a normal kid? I'd be like, oh my God, 911.
He should be crippled.
Right?
He should be crippled, yeah.
Wayne Gotke says Lex's father in Smallville is some of the best villain casting I've ever seen. John Glover as Lionel Luthor is absolutely fantastic. He is incredible. And that actually, Tommy, was my favorite part of episode 3. It wasn't the Clark stuff. It was the back and forth stuff between Lex and Lionel. The get rid of your workforce, and like you see how Lex was being treated by his dad, and it's almost like they're playing this unique game of chess. And I really enjoyed that the most when it came to episode 3. But anyway, back to episode 4, where he's dealing with the powers and how they're affecting him. What did you think of that episode?
I don't want to say it was my favorite of the bunch, but it's like you say, it brings it into a larger world and what have you. I wasn't a big fan of the coach. He was kind of a meh villain. I mean, I get pissed off and I set shit on fire. But he was all right for what he was. What's surprising me so far about just the way they're doing a lot of this stuff is, if I understand correctly, all of the villain characters have died, right?
What do you mean?
Anyone who's seen Clark, acting with his abilities, they're dead, right?
I'm not going to answer that question. You've spoiled enough for yourself. I'm not going to spoil any more.
So the coach is not dead, is what you're saying.
I'm not saying anything. I'm going to say keep watching. So
fine. Fine.
I would say out of the first 4 episodes, if you were to rank them, how would you rank them? Not in scores, just in order. What was your favorite to least favorite? Although it sounds like you've enjoyed them all so far.
I've enjoyed them all. I've told you it's hard to say what's a good and a bad episode when I'm still so new to all this, and I'm just enjoying it because I don't know the universe. It's like watching Supernatural. I didn't get a lot of the distaste originally. Looking back, I get some, but so help me out here. Which one was episode 3?
Episode 3 is the coach in the fire. Episode 2.
I thought that was 4.
No, 4 is the shapeshifter, and episode 2 is
the bugs.
The bug boy. God. So, for me, I'd probably go episode 3, episode 2, episode 4, and then episode 1. So for me, it's the fire coach guy in first place in this 4-episode segment, then Bug Boy, then Shapeshifter, then the pilot.
And the Lex build-up with his father was in 3.
Episode 3, yeah.
All right, I'll go 3, 1. Trying to remember my numbers. I said, oh, shit. 3, 1, 2, and then 4.
Good list. All right, guys. Toronto Freddy, at least we have more likes than viewers now. Yeah. Well, that's going to do it for our little Smallville Chronicle recording, which lasted a little longer than we'd like to, and we dragged it on a bit. But not every little 4-episode segment of Smallville, I think it's cool to do it in 4-episode segments, Tommy, is going to be like this. We're doing this in the middle of a stream, so you'll see some different graphics and stuff that we'll put up for future episodes. But for the first one, this is what you get. And now, back to Fandom Empire Live. All right, guys, as we get ready to wrap things up, we return to the chat one more time here to go through it. I think Jade asked if your wife will send her Animal Crossing info so she can come to Jade's island. Jade and her sister.
I will try to arrange that. I have no idea how those game mechanics work, or if you need Nintendo Online for them. We're not paying for that just yet, but okay, I'll see what I can do. Is this like Farmville? Remember Farmville on Facebook? All those stupid games. Will you water my crops?
Terrible. Frank Riker says it would normal to tap Chloe, for Christ's sakes. Clark had high standards for a Martian.
Yo, I don't understand why he has no connection with her. I'll be totally upfront about that. What's the other guy's name? The other guy besides Clark in the group?
Oh, Pete. Yeah, I don't like Pete.
Is there a connection between Pete and Chloe?
Keep watching.
Okay, I got the idea there was some romance in there, but okay.
Frank Riker says, remember the psychic that read Lex? Yes, I do. Tommy's going to come up on that episode soon. Wow, that episode was just like, hello, foreshadowing. Yeah, just great stuff. All right, well, you know what? That's going to do it for Fandom Empire Live this evening. I got to go cook dinner. It's already 6:30, so by the time it's done and ready, you're probably looking at 7:40 or so, 7:45. Tommy, thanks for doing this tonight, man. I know we didn't intend to go an hour and 13 minutes or so, but it was a lot of fun. The chat was active. It was great. Appreciate everybody for coming out. Yeah, where can everybody find you at, man?
Catch me hanging out on Facebook, our Fandom Empire Den group. Check out Future of Halloween, our Halloween group. Please do not post soliciting posts in the Future of Halloween. I will remove them. We do not endorse the making of fake social security cards and numbers and all that sorts of stuff. If you want to catch me on other platforms, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at TommyB1650.
Jay Beach says, Phantom Empire, did you read Taken Shape 2? Just got a copy today and starting it tonight. I've read a good chunk of it. I've not finished it, though. It's worth every penny, man. Big shout out to our chat mods in this live stream anyway. Tommy B, who's live here in person, but also to Toronto Freddy, Frank Riker, Jade, Matt Whitfield, and earlier on, Kieran before he took off for work. Don't forget, you can check us out, and please, for the love of God, fucking follow us on social media. It helps. It helps build the brand. Oh, did we just lose connection? Did we just lose Tommy? Am I still alive at least? I think we lost Tommy. All right, Tommy. Go fuck yourself. Apparently I'm still here, though. So don't forget, check us out on Twitter and Instagram at Fandom Empire Now. Facebook is the Fandom Empire Den group. We also have the Future of Halloween group. And then in terms of pages, we have Halloween Kills 2020. And we also have Fandom Empire. Check us out there. Helps a lot. And yeah, guys, we'll see you Tuesday. Fandom Empire Star Wars Show, episode number 1. And then Thursday's Fandom Empire Live. Lots of good shit coming. And we'll see you next time. Have a great weekend. Ciao.